And we're live.
Woo! Live. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 18 of getting back to work.
Week 18. Woo!
Week 18. My goodness, it's been a crazy week. And this one is coming to you from our friends at Openpath.
Thank you, Openpath.
Thank you, Openpath, indeed. I'm Mandy, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host.
I am Bert.
Thank you, Bert. Today we have some really great articles for you all this week, as we usually do, in all things getting back to work. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and kick it on off. So first up, we have an article that addresses a problem that I was starting to think a lot about a few weeks ago, as I felt a bit of a tickle in my throat. Yeah, thankfully it was just allergies, but to shed some light on sick leave in a time when we're all working remote, is this article from ABC News that's titled "Employers Are Rethinking Sick Leave Work from Home Policies to Protect COVID-19 Long Haulers." This is by Dr. Alexis E. Carrington and Dr. Jay Bott. So two doctors here talking about something super important to us all. So it starts out by addressing the fact that whether you're a white collar or blue collar worker, this pandemic is crazy. And what's even crazier and scarier is the thought of getting sick. Is not a lot of companies have really redefined their sick leave policies, let alone addressed what will happen for those workers who end up contracting COVID-19 and end up needing more than 2 weeks of sick leave to recover from it. The article is referring to these individuals as the COVID-19 long haulers. And with all this, we have to be super careful, as if there aren't decent, we have to act as if there aren't decent measures and hold on. With all this, we have to be super careful, as there aren't exactly decent measures and fair benefits in place for long haulers just yet, or for those who get sick in general. We might experience people coming back to work when they shouldn't be, for the sake of just getting paid, if we don't have certain measures in place here. So that's a little scary right now.
A little scary.
Yeah, that would be awful, because no one really should ever really have to choose between getting a paycheck and keeping themselves and their coworkers safe, and trying to be healthy again.
Yeah.
To avoid this, a couple of doctors in this article offer a few tips for companies to take into consideration when or if an employee gets sick with COVID-19. And they state that if an employee has symptoms of COVID-19, that their employer should work with them to ensure that they have the time and space they need to recover from their illness before they return to the office. Of course. Common sense, right? And according to some experts, this could even be considered a chronic illness if a person has persistent symptoms. So that's another thing that now we all have to consider. Employers should be prepared for this, and if they don't already, they should make sure they have policies in place to ensure that those with chronic illnesses are not discriminated against. It is important for us, to promote the importance of recognizing the difference between infectious versus recovered, and we should not be discriminating against someone that has persistent symptoms here. There is a difference. I know it's a little scary to maybe see a coworker cough here and there, but we also want to be mindful of the fact that it could be unfortunate lingering symptoms. Yep. Not thinking about this could make your fellow coworkers with lingering symptoms feel isolated and discriminated against, and can kind of put them in a bad place and your employer in a not so good legal position here.
Most definitely.
Doctors also offer this tidbit of advice. When employers are looking to get an employee back to work, they recommend adopting testing-based strategies for return to work instead of symptom-based approaches. I agree. While these individuals are not considered infectious post-recovery, employers should still want to be sensitive to all employees and the potential concerns of being around others who may continue to exhibit symptoms. And that any company, reopening here for business should ensure that they have a robust protocol in place to protect the health and safety of both their employees and customers.
Yep.
And to that end, employers should also stress that sick employees should not come to work. It's a weird balance that this article is trying to strike here, because it's talking about, trying to protect employees to get COVID, trying to protect them and not have them feel discriminated against. But meanwhile, it's also like, okay, how do we dance around this and make sure our other employees, feel comfortable as well?
Yeah.
While also, trying to make these employees that have these lingering symptoms, but not contagious, feel okay and back at home in the office. It's an interesting article, and I would strongly recommend you guys check it out if you get a chance. It's just, we're all still trying to navigate this and trying to figure out what needs to be put in place, and the kind of benefits and policies, we're trying.
Thinking about what the article that we covered last week, talking about flexibility, this sounds like one of those cases where, we need to be a little bit flexible here. You got the people who are, worried about getting sick, and we've got the people who were sick and have some lingering systems, and, we want to make everyone comfortable.
Yeah. And on top of that, with flexibility, it's just like work from home then. Like big thing here is work from home, like until you test negative. So instead of it being symptoms based, like the article mentions, it really needs to be testing, and you need to test negative for it twice, the article mentioned, which is agreed. I would feel more comfortable, and I think having it be something that is based off of a test would be less likely, would make it a lot easier, I think, for those employees with those symptoms, to feel a little better about it, because then they're like, okay, yeah, I tested positive, I still probably shouldn't come back to work, versus fighting it and be like, no, I feel better, like I'm gonna come back in, I'm fine.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I can only imagine.
It would make everyone feel better. So I don't know, it's a delicate thing right now, and I don't know, it's gonna be interesting to see how companies handle that, but hopefully, like you said, just adding more flexibility.
Yep. For some reason, I thought of that meme. Is you sick? Why you not home? Some goofy meme. But to the world, let me look directly at you. I'm sorry that you guys are going through this, and having to have to go back to the office, and having to have to juggle whether you should go to work to get paid, or taking the risk of being sick. I'm sorry. Hopefully, it gets better soon.
No, that's awful. No one should have to choose between that. And I think it's even harder, I'm sure, for people with blue collar jobs. Like, like, what do you do? So policies really need to be put in place here. Like, if you're going into work to do some kind of manufacturing job, or you're at a factory, like, what are you supposed to do?
I know. I'm not gonna lie. If it's me, I'm going to work, because
awful.
You got to. I mean, if you don't go to work, bills don't get paid, flights get cut off, everybody's unhappy. So
you don't have an option.
These are just the things that, I guess we're just kind of dealing with and making adjustments for as we go.
I think that's it right there.
Hopefully.
Making adjustments. We need to make adjustmants.
Yeah, hopefully 2021, though. Just hold on hope, 2021. Let's hope that it's going to be better.
Hopefully. We'll see. All right, Bert, your article.
Okay, I'm up. It's my turn. Article number 2. Sorry about that. I'm a little extra today. Okay. Article number 2. So the article that I'm covering today is called Preparing Smart devices for the future of work. This is brought to us by RT Insights, written by Elizabeth Wallace. I think I said that right. That's a pretty American name. Yes. So this article was another great, short and sweet article. I definitely loved it because, I personally work with tons of technology. It's all around me as I go. I've been working remotely for the last 4 years, a little over 4 years now, and I've noticed a big increase in my tech use related to the work that I do. And I feel like this article really touched home for a lot of people who are currently working from home, and especially the folks that has access to like really important information. So Wallace starts this article off stating that, before the pandemic, smart devices may not have had access to connect. But as workers have logged on from home, new pathways to sensitive information can be opened. Interesting. Because I do like a lot of web design. I've had clients that needed me to come into the office, to do certain things for security reasons. I can only imagine how things are now with everyone just kind of like, at one point when this whole thing tipped off, everyone's at home, no one's at the office, blah, 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 blah. So, now, securities, where's the security there? And I love this article because it's talking about security. So with so much of the workforce still working from home due to the pandemic, it has created considerable security risks due to unsecured smart devices. That can be anything from iPads to laptops to gaming systems. Gaming systems, and you may have like an Alexa or something like that that you use to plug into devices. Alexa, can you secure my firewall?
Happy to help. Guarding at home, you can say, Alexa, set up guard.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Happy to help.
But I don't know about that.
She's working on it.
She's working on it. But that's just a prime example of how like people use these devices. And I find it quite fascinating. Thanks to security loopholes and a lack of security first thinking for networked home devices, hackers can take advantage of the massive influx of remote workers to access sensitive company information. What are remote work security loopholes, you might wonder? Because companies have struggled to manage the sudden influx of remote work, allowing users to connect to key company hubs from home smart devices without much governance. Hackers have seized on this access, taking over smartphones, tablets, baby monitors. Crazy. What do you want to do with a baby monitor? Baby monitors, thermostats, anything that could jump accounts through a single unified network. From there, they have, a back door to many company hubs. Fascinating. Fortunately, researchers are currently building security maps designed to create pathways for these IoT devices instead of focusing solely on, computer hubs. As we continue in this, remote workforce, companies have to get a greater understanding of what constitutes an unsecured portal to these sensitive company hubs. Wallace says a company system will identify attacks and notify consumers as well as organizations and service providers, locking down these weak points before attackers progress. However, both companies and consumers will have to adopt the security first mindset. Security first, baby. Come on. Security first mindset to adopt new technologies and move forward with a greater remote workforce. As for now, companies can take the following steps to move towards, better governance for remote employees. And this is the first thing they can do. They can implement training, alerting workers to personal devices, potential issues goes a long way to improving overall security. The second thing they can do, reconsider personal devices. Ideally, work should have access only through company provided devices. In the real world though, that may not be possible, so companies should provide regular audits for personal devices. And the last thing they can do, update, authenticate, and secure. This includes devices and calibrating, software. This was a great article. I really love that it touched on, the security thing of these things, the security world, because, there are, going into this, there are like a lot of loopholes and a lot of, unsecured portals that people can kind of get into because, you're not behind a firewall anymore. And, people, there are some bad people out there, man. That's what I'm saying. They'll try to, baby monitors, come on. Baby monitors? Oh, geez. That was that article.
That's for people right now, unfortunately. And I think, we really do need to be mindful of our cybersecurity, our passwords, where we're working. If we're working on a personal device, we need to be cognizant of where we take this, and need to make sure, like, if you're going to a coffee shop or something, like, how secure is that going to be? So like, how secure is their network? So it's just like, it's a lot of things we have to think about, I guess. But that's also kind of goes back to even before COVID was a thing and you're trying to like escape.
Yep. Don't open the email. Don't open the email. Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. You just gotta be careful. Gotta be mindful. Be brushing up on your phishing.
Oh, geez.
Scams there. I don't know. We just need to be more mindful of what we're doing and where we're taking our work. I think that's really what it is. And just, our passwords.
Yeah. Well, for the record, they don't get me all the time. I don't click on those emails. No.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll get me on my password, but who knows? Anyways.
See, that domain does not look correct. That does not look good.
I know. 123 password.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I say that online. Oh my god! Don't use that one.
Totally not what Bert uses. Okay. All right, so we're meandering here, but so to wrap this all up, we have a bit of a more, I guess, fun article here from Fast Company. It's more tips on combating the coronavirus fatigue that we actually have not mentioned this time. We have mentioned, we've had some tips and tricks here, but these we have not mentioned. The article here is called 6 Energy Boosting Tips to Combat Pandemic Fatigue, and this is by Elizabeth Hartke. The first tip here, and okay, all right, so I kind of lied. It's going to make me a bit of a liar because we have mentioned this one before, but it's a bit of a different take on it.
Okay, what do you got?
She mentions that the first tip here is to designate a specific start time to your work day. But here's the difference here.
Okay.
So a lot of us, we wake up and one of the first things we do is we pretty much blur the lines between personal time and work time, because what a lot of people seem to do is they open, they look at their phones, but while they're looking at their social media, they're also checking their work emails.
Yep.
You got to divide those two. Like, you got to divvy it up, set barriers here. So if you're starting your day, why don't you sit down, have a cup of coffee first, or whatever you like to do in the morning, do with your morning routine, and check your social media then. And then at like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., start your day and just be like, yep, this is it. This is start go time. I'm checking my work email now, and I'm hitting the ground running. So that's the first one. Second tip is to celebrate milestones throughout the day.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
it might not seem like a very obvious energy booster when, you know, pitted against a double espresso,
Oh,
but science would say otherwise.
yeah.
Research shows that dopamine, that lovely little neurotransmitter that plays a role in how we feel pleasure, has been proven to increase levels of motivation, mood, focus, and you guessed it, energy.
Oh, wow.
So, you know,
And
instead of
it
just
does.
plowing through, yeah, that dopamine rush. So instead of just plowing through your tasks here, set aside like little rewards associated that you could associate with completing them, like going for a 5 minute walk or having lunch, maybe your favorite lunch or smoothie or something, what have you, calling your friends, you know, set aside that time and associate it with the milestones and benchmarks throughout your day.
Mandy, what do
Uh,
you do for your milestones? How do you celebrate?
I
No.
almost feel like my milestones are like things I need to do, like I guess take care of me time. So like I'll do 15 minutes of like a little workout or something. And that's like uh,
All right.
about 2 or 3 times, and yeah,
Okay.
those are my milestones, and lunch, and maybe another cup of coffee. So those are like my little milestones throughout the day. And I think they help. Yeah. What do you do?
I watched one episode of Adventure Time. I said, okay, all right, I want to watch the next one, so I'm gonna work through so I can get this next milestone. So that's what I did.
Well, okay, so there's another tip here that's kind of it might play into this your
Okay.
adventure time thing here actually with
Okay. Okay.
how the length of those episodes. But before that, the third tip is to change your view. Literally, before when we were in the office, you know, we had face-to-face meetings to break up our days, and you
Yeah.
know, this time spent staring at a computer screen. So we kind of had that in between so that we're not like sitting and staring at the screen all day. Fortunately, now our meetings are on the computer. So we don't really
Okay.
have that. We don't have that kind of time set aside to give our eyes a break. So the article suggests that if you can't take some breaks from your computer screen throughout the day, that you consider getting blue light blocker glasses, which I actually have done, or look for that setting on your computer like night shift mode that can help offset the blue light that messes
Yeah.
with our eyes, you know, that's emitted from the computers. And then the fourth tip is to exercise or relax for a brief window, which, yes, is super important for us all, especially during a pandemic. You know, exercising can only help combat illness here and stress attributed to the pandemic and our crazy lives right now. That's kind of like why I think I also put like working out in my little milestones. While it's a pain in the butt to do it at a time, I know that it feels good after the fact, you know, and it helps divide up the day, not make it so monotonous. Um, Tip number 5 is to build in white space into your day. The natural tendency of a hard worker is to fill every moment of the day with work. But that can drastically reduce productivity, energy levels, and brain function. Whoa, go figure. You know, when you're booked solid, there's no room for that creativity and distressing and that recharging that we all really need. So the article says that we really, and I agree, that we should take some small breaks throughout the day that are actually blocked into your calendar and that we actually honor those as if it's an important meeting or something. And, you know, use the time to relax, step away from the screen, give your eyes a break, and just allow your mind to rest or think for a little bit or just maybe not think at all.
Yeah.
And then finally, that's our tip number 6, kind of goes hand in hand with yours, Bert, is to try out the new 52 minutes on and 17 minutes off trick throughout your day, where exactly as it sounds, you're breaking your time into 15-minute bursts of productivity, followed by 17 minutes of some form of a break, like watching Adventure Time, because those are like really super short.
Oh man.
It's a bit different from the Pomodoro technique, which is the 25 minutes on and then 5 minutes off kind of break. But studies have shown that This 52 on, 17 off can in fact optimize your workday energy and has been something that many of the most successful and productive people actually benefit from. Definitely. And that wraps it up. With that, we have just wrapped up week 18 of GBTW. Bert, thank you for joining me. And thank you to Openpath and to those of you who tuned in. We really appreciate you. And we look forward to sharing more on getting back to work news next week. Hope you all have a great weekend. And don't you forget to subscribe to that newsletter.
Don't you forget, please subscribe.
Yes, subscribe. All right. Thanks all.